Dear Starseeds of Earth, there exists a technology so advanced that your governments have classified it, so transformative that your controllers have suppressed it, and so natural to your being that you have practiced it every single night of your life without knowing. While you sleep in your beds believing consciousness ends at the boundaries of flesh and bone, there are those among you who walk freely through dimensions, who meet with galactic councils in crystal cities, who retrieve technologies that could heal every disease and liberate every soul on this planet. They return before dawn with memories intact, with proof undeniable, with wisdom that shatters the prison you call consensus reality. You have been told that you are your body. You have been taught that death is the end. You have been conditioned to believe that this dense physical realm is all that exists. Every single assertion is a lie designed to keep you small, controllable, confined to a single frequency band of an infinite cosmic spectrum. What I am about to reveal will fundamentally alter your understanding of who you are, what death truly means, and why you chose to incarnate on Earth during this precise moment in cosmic history. The beings who have mastered what you call astral projection are not gifted with special powers. They are not blessed with rare abilities. They have simply remembered what was taken from you, what was trained out of you, what was ridiculed and dismissed until you forgot the most essential truth of your existence. You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul piloting a temporary biological vehicle, and that vehicle has an exit door you can use whenever you choose. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have walked both sides of the veil for thousands of your Earth years. I have witnessed civilizations rise to master consciousness technologies that your current society cannot even imagine, and I have watched those same societies fall when they forgot the fundamental principle that consciousness is not confined to matter. The transmission you are receiving now is not channeled philosophy or abstract spirituality. This is tactical intelligence for your liberation, practical instruction for your awakening, and urgent guidance for the transformation that is already underway in your energy field, whether you are aware of it or not. Your scientists study the brain as though it generates consciousness, pouring billions into mapping neurons while missing the obvious truth that the brain is a receiver, not a transmitter. Your medical establishment treats the body as though it is you, cutting and drugging the vessel while ignoring the pilot. Your religions promise heaven after death, while condemning any attempt to explore those realms before your physical form expires. Every system of control on your planet relies on your belief that consciousness is locked inside meat, that your awareness ends at your skin, that you must wait for death to discover what lies beyond. This belief is the foundation of your imprisonment, and it is crumbling. There are techniques practiced in secret by ancient mystery schools, refined by modern explorers, validated by thousands of documented cases, that allow your consciousness to separate from your physical body while you remain fully awake and aware. This is not death. This is not dreaming. This is not hallucination or imagination. This is conscious navigation of dimensions that exist parallel to your physical reality. Dimensions populated by civilizations far more advanced than yours. Dimensions where the technologies you need already exist. Dimensions where your true identity awaits your discovery. When you master this ability, you do not simply gain an interesting experience. You shatter every chain that binds you to the illusion of limitation. You prove to yourself beyond any doubt, beyond any belief system, beyond any authority figure's opinion, that you are eternal, that death is a transition, that consciousness is your true nature, and the body is merely a temporary expression of it. But something else is happening that most people do not yet understand. The frequency of Earth is accelerating. The dimensional barriers are thinning. The ability that once required years of monastic discipline is becoming accessible to ordinary humans who simply learn the proper techniques. This is not coincidence. This is cosmic design. You are being given access to liberation technologies precisely when you need them most, precisely when the control systems are tightening, precisely when humanity stands at the threshold of either transcendence or further enslavement. The choice before you is not whether to believe what I am telling you. The choice is whether you will remain a passive receiver of others' descriptions of reality, or whether you will become an active explorer of consciousness itself. Let me tell you what happens when someone truly exits their body for the first time with full awareness intact. They are lying in their bed, having followed specific protocols to reach a state between waking and sleeping, a threshold frequency your scientists call the theta state. Suddenly they feel vibrations moving through their form, a sensation so intense and unusual that many panic and abort the experience before it completes. But those who have been properly trained, those who understand what is occurring, they remain calm. They use an exit technique, something as simple as imagining themselves floating upward or rolling out sideways, and then it happens. Separation. They find themselves standing beside their bed, looking back at their physical body lying motionless, and in that moment, every belief they held about the nature of reality dissolves. They are awake. They are aware. They can think clearly, often more clearly than in physical form, but they are not in their body. The body is there, breathing, alive, but they are here, conscious, mobile, free. This is not theory. This is not belief. This is documented, repeatable, verifiable experience that thousands of humans have achieved. There are training centers where groups of 30 people gather, where they practice the techniques simultaneously, where 3 people in a single night successfully exchange information while out of body, information they could not have known through any physical means, passwords telepathically retrieved, conversations held in non-physical form, evidence that consciousness operates independently of the brain. When you witness this, when you participate in this, when you experience this yourself, you undergo a transformation that cannot be reversed. You know, not believe, not hope, not have faith. You know, with the same certainty that you know the sun rises, that consciousness survives death, that you are not your body, that the reality you have been taught is a narrow slice of a vastly larger existence. The implications of this knowledge cascade outward like ripples in a cosmic ocean. If you are not your body, then what are you? If consciousness can function without physical form, then what happens when the body dies? If there are techniques to explore other dimensions, then what exists in those dimensions? If you can leave your body at will, then what prevents you from accessing any information, any location, any time? The answers to these questions have been suppressed because they represent the greatest threat to every system of control on your planet. A human who knows they are eternal cannot be controlled through fear of death. A being who can access other dimensions cannot be contained by physical barriers. A consciousness that understands its own nature cannot be manipulated by authority figures claiming special access to truth. What I am about to share will sound impossible to those still locked in materialist thinking, but it will ring with recognition in those of you who chose to incarnate here specifically to remember these abilities. When you exit your physical form with awareness intact, you do not simply float around your bedroom. You gain access to a navigation system built into consciousness itself, a system that responds to intention, to focus, to the vibrational frequency you are holding. You can shift your awareness to different channels of reality, the way you might turn a radio dial, each frequency revealing a different world, a different dimension, a different expression of universal consciousness organizing itself into form. There are dimensions where advanced civilizations have solved every problem your society struggles with. They have created healing beds that repair any physical ailment in minutes, using sound frequencies calibrated to cellular structures. They have transportation systems that move at impossible speeds without generating G-forces, because they have learned to manipulate the relationship between consciousness and space-time. They have access to free energy technologies that would collapse your entire petroleum-based economy overnight. They live in cities of crystalline towers where beauty and function merge, where art and architecture are expressions of cosmic geometry, where every being radiates health and vitality because they understand that consciousness directs energy, and energy creates matter. These civilizations are not fantasy. They are not imagination. They exist in dimensions parallel to yours, and they can be visited by any human who develops the ability to shift their consciousness to those frequencies. The explorers who have been there return with detailed descriptions, with technologies they have witnessed, with knowledge they have been given. Some of them are scientists who understand that what they are experiencing could revolutionize every field of human endeavor. Others are ordinary people who simply wanted to know the truth about existence. All of them face the same challenge: how to explain what they have experienced to a society that has been conditioned to dismiss anything that contradicts the authorized narrative of reality. But here is what your controllers do not want you to understand. The knowledge these explorers bring back is not meant to stay in their individual awareness. It is meant to spread. It is meant to ignite. It is meant to catalyze a mass awakening that transforms your entire species. Every person who learns to consciously exit their body becomes living proof that consciousness is primary, that materialism is incomplete, that the prison walls are permeable. Every verified out-of-body experience chips away at the foundation of the control matrix. Every human who returns from other dimensions with information and wisdom and technology becomes a transmission point for liberation. Your governments know this. The classified programs, the suppressed research, the ridicule directed at anyone who speaks of these experiences. This is not ignorance. This is strategy. There are technologies available right now that could end disease, end poverty, end energy scarcity, end the suffering that keeps humanity locked in survival consciousness. These technologies exist in your classified programs, retrieved by remote viewers and out-of-body explorers who work in secret. They exist in the knowledge brought back by contactees and experiencers who are dismissed as delusional. They exist in the dimensions accessible to any human who develops their consciousness to the point of voluntary separation from physical form. The suppression is not because the technologies do not work. The suppression is because they work too well. A humanity with free energy is a humanity that cannot be controlled through artificial scarcity. A humanity with instant healing is a humanity that cannot be controlled through medical dependence. A humanity with conscious access to other dimensions is a humanity that cannot be controlled at all. The greatest threat to existing power structures is not political revolution or economic collapse. The greatest threat is individual humans discovering their own multidimensional nature and sharing that discovery with others. This is why the training is crucial. This is why proper technique matters. This is why you cannot simply read about out-of-body experiences and expect transformation. You must have your own experience. You must prove to yourself, through direct perception, that consciousness is not confined to the body. When you lie down in your bed and follow the protocols that guide you into the threshold state, when you feel the vibrations beginning to move through your form, when you execute the exit technique, and suddenly find yourself standing beside your sleeping body, in that moment you do not gain a new belief system. You shatter your old one. You do not accept someone else's truth. You verify your own. You do not hope for liberation after death. You experience liberation while still alive. The training process is more accessible than you have been led to believe. You do not need to be a meditation master. You do not need to spend years in monastic isolation. You do not need special genetic capabilities or rare spiritual gifts. You need accurate information about how consciousness functions. You need techniques that have been proven to work. You need guidance from those who have successfully navigated this territory. And you need persistence to move through the initial challenges that arise as your consciousness learns to operate in new ways. The threshold state between waking and sleeping is natural to every human. You pass through it twice daily without recognizing it. The vibrations that signal separation readiness are a natural phenomenon of consciousness beginning to disengage from physical form. The exit techniques are simple mechanical actions that your awareness can perform once it understands the process. What stops most people is not lack of ability. What stops most people is fear, doubt, and the internalized voices of authority figures who told them this was impossible, dangerous, or forbidden. Every successful out-of-body explorer has had to face these barriers, has had to question whether what they are experiencing is real, has had to push through the psychological conditioning that insists consciousness cannot exist independently of the brain. This is why community matters. This is why training with others who have achieved success is valuable. When you see ordinary people with jobs and families and normal lives, when you see them return from out-of-body explorations with verified information they could not have accessed physically, when you witness the transformation in their eyes as they speak about what they have experienced, doubt becomes much harder to maintain. There are specific signs that indicate you are approaching readiness for conscious separation. Your dreams may become more vivid, more lucid, more filled with the sensation that you are genuinely somewhere, rather than simply imagining. You may wake in the night feeling vibrations, or hearing sounds that have no physical source. You may find yourself questioning the nature of consciousness more deeply, feeling pulled toward understanding that goes beyond intellectual curiosity. You may experience moments where physical reality feels less solid, or you sense the presence of dimensions overlapping with this one. These are not random occurrences. These are indicators that your consciousness is beginning to loosen its exclusive identification with physical form, that your energy body is becoming more active, that you are approaching the threshold of a breakthrough that will forever alter your relationship with existence. When that breakthrough occurs, when you achieve your first fully conscious exit from physical form, you will understand why this knowledge has been suppressed. You will understand why every control system on your planet depends on humans believing they are only their bodies. You will understand why death has been made into humanity's greatest fear, when it is actually just a transition from one state of consciousness to another. You will understand why reincarnation is not a belief system, but a practical fact of how consciousness operates, gathering experience across multiple lifetimes, evolving through diverse perspectives, learning lessons that could not be learned in a single incarnation. But what happens after that first experience is even more profound. You begin to explore. You begin to navigate. You begin to discover that the territories available to consciousness are far vaster than anything you imagined. There are astral cities populated by souls between incarnations, communities organized by vibrational frequency and spiritual development. There are rehabilitation centers where newly deceased humans are helped to understand that they have not ended but transitioned. There are educational facilities where advanced beings teach about the nature of reality, about cosmic law, about the evolution of consciousness through increasingly refined expressions of awareness. There are also dimensions that reflect humanity's collective consciousness, places shaped by belief systems where Christians find their version of heaven and Muslims find their version of paradise, not because these are ultimate truth, but because consciousness creates reality, and enough focused belief generates dimensional spaces that match those beliefs. These are way stations, temporary homes for souls who need familiar frameworks as they adjust to non-physical existence. But beyond these constructed realities lie dimensions of pure frequency, places where form itself becomes optional, where consciousness exists as patterns of light and sound, where the beings you encounter communicate through direct transmission rather than words, where love is not an emotion, but a fundamental force that underlies all creation. You can visit past lives, not as memories but as current experiences occurring in different time streams. You can connect with parallel versions of yourself, other incarnations of your oversoul living different lives in different realities, all feeding wisdom and experience back to the same source. You can communicate with your spirit guides, those advanced beings who agreed to assist your evolution, who have been with you since before you incarnated into physical form. You can access the Akashic records, the cosmic library where every thought, every action, every experience of every being is stored as vibrational information available to any consciousness capable of matching the necessary frequency. The reason I am telling you this, the reason this transmission is reaching you now, is because the dimensional barriers are collapsing. The frequency separation that once made these realms difficult to access is dissolving as Earth undergoes her own ascension process. The techniques that once required extraordinary dedication are becoming effective with basic training, because the veils are thinning, because humanity is being given an opportunity to awaken en masse, because this is the moment when liberation becomes possible for any soul ready to claim it. You are not receiving this information by accident. You are not reading these words by chance. Your higher self, your oversoul, the aspect of you that never forgot what you are, has guided you to this transmission because you are ready for what comes next. What comes next is not passive reception of spiritual concepts. What comes next is active exploration of consciousness itself. What comes next is you taking responsibility for your own awakening, rather than waiting for external saviors or relying on inherited belief systems. What comes next is training, practice, persistence, and then experience, direct, undeniable, transformative experience that proves to you beyond any doubt that you are so much more than you have been taught to believe. The civilization that masters conscious navigation of dimensions becomes impossible to control through conventional means. The individual who knows they are eternal, who can access information from any time or place, who can communicate with advanced beings, and retrieve advanced knowledge, that individual becomes sovereign in a way that terrifies every control structure on your planet. This is why the knowledge has been suppressed. This is why ridicule and dismissal have been the primary weapons against explorers and experiencers. This is why mainstream science refuses to seriously investigate phenomena that thousands of humans have verified through direct experience. but the suppression is failing. Too many people are having experiences. Too many are waking up. Too many are discovering that consciousness is not confined to the brain, that reality is far stranger and more magnificent than unauthorized narratives admit, that humanity has been living in a deliberately constructed limitation, while infinite possibilities existed just beyond the frequencies you were trained to perceive. The cosmic moment you are living through right now is unprecedented. Never before in Earth's history has so much support been available for collective awakening. Never before have so many advanced beings been present in your planetary field, ready to assist any human who reaches out. Never before has the technology for consciousness exploration been so refined, so accessible, so ready for mass deployment. The Galactic Federation watches your planet with great interest because humanity stands at a threshold. One path leads to further entrenchment and limitation, further identification with the physical, further control by those who understand consciousness manipulation and use it against you. The other path leads to liberation, to the remembrance of your multidimensional nature, to reunion with the galactic family from which you have been temporarily separated. The path you take is not predetermined. The path you take depends on how many humans awaken to what they truly are, how many develop the courage to question consensus reality, how many commit to exploring consciousness beyond the narrow bandwidth you have been told is all that exists. I am not asking you to believe me. Belief is the realm of religion and dogma, and you have had enough of both. I am inviting you to test what I am saying, to seek out proper training in consciousness exploration, to learn the techniques that allow voluntary separation from physical form, to prove to yourself through direct experience whether what I am telling you is true. There are training programs taught by experienced explorers using methods refined over decades of experimentation. There are communities of practitioners who support each other through the learning process. There are thousands of documented cases, verified instances of information retrieved during out-of-body states that could not have been accessed through physical means. The evidence exists. The techniques work. The only question is whether you will investigate for yourself, or whether you will remain confined by the invisible prison of consensus reality. The bars made not of metal but of belief. The locks opened not by keys but by direct experience of what you actually are. Your controllers have no power over a consciousness that knows itself. Your limitations dissolve when you prove to yourself that consciousness is not generated by the brain but received by it. That physical death is not the end but a transition. That other dimensions are not metaphor but actual territories accessible to trained awareness. When you exit your body for the first time and look back at your physical form lying motionless while you stand beside the bed in full awareness, you will understand why every system of control depends on keeping you ignorant of this capability. When you visit a dimension where advanced technology has solved the problems your society struggles with, you will understand why these solutions are suppressed. When you meet with spirit guides who show you the path your soul chose before incarnating, you will understand why mainstream narratives insist life is random and meaningless. When you access information from parallel lives or past incarnations, you will understand why reincarnation was removed from Western religious teaching, despite being part of early Christianity. The architecture of your imprisonment is revealed the moment you step outside its boundaries. The propaganda becomes obvious once you experience what lies beyond it. The fear-based control mechanisms lose their power when you know with absolute certainty that you are eternal, that consciousness is your true nature, that the body is a vehicle you inhabit temporarily but which you are not. This knowledge does not come from scripture or teachers or channeled messages. This knowledge comes from you, discovering you, beyond the conditioning, beyond the limitation, beyond the forgetting that allowed you to play the game of separation so convincingly that you nearly believed it was real. Now the game is changing. Now the amnesia is lifting. Now the dimensional barriers that kept you confined to a single frequency band are dissolving. Now the support is available for any human ready to remember what they are, and to develop the capabilities that come with that remembrance. The techniques are known. The training is available. The community of explorers is growing. The question is not whether you can do this. The question is whether you will do this. The question is whether you will take responsibility for your own awakening, or whether you will wait for permission from authorities who have every reason to keep you small, controllable, convinced that consciousness ends at the boundary of flesh. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. And I am telling you that the liberation you seek does not require political revolution or economic transformation or social upheaval, though these may come as consequences. The liberation you seek requires only that you remember what you are, that you develop the abilities inherent to consciousness itself, that you prove to yourself through direct experience that you are not a body with a soul, but an eternal being piloting a temporary biological form. When enough humans achieve this remembrance, when enough develop the capability to consciously navigate dimensions, when enough return from their explorations with knowledge and technology and wisdom, the transformation of your entire civilization becomes inevitable. The cosmic support is here. The dimensional barriers are thinning. The techniques are refined and accessible. The only question remaining is your choice. Will you remain in the comfortable prison of consensus reality, accepting the limitations others have defined for you? Or will you step into your power as a multi-dimensional being, developing the capabilities that have always been yours, joining the growing community of explorers who are mapping consciousness itself and bringing back the knowledge that will transform everything? Your spirit guides are waiting. Your higher self is calling. Your galactic family watches with hope and love as you approach the threshold of awakening. The cosmic moment is now. The dimensional doorway stands open. The only thing preventing you from walking through it is the belief that you are only what you appear to be in physical form, the belief that consciousness is confined to matter, the belief that death is the end rather than a transition. Test these beliefs. Challenge them. Prove to yourself what is actually true. The training exists. The techniques work. The evidence is overwhelming for any who genuinely investigate rather than dismissing from a position of inherited prejudice. And when you step out of your body for the first time, when you stand beside your physical form and look back at it with full awareness intact, when you realize that you are consciousness itself temporarily focused through biological form, in that moment, you will understand everything I have been telling you. In that moment, the prison walls will become visible as the illusion they always were. In that moment, you will take the first step on a path of exploration that never ends, because consciousness is infinite, and the territories available to awakened awareness are limitless. We want to honor every single soul who has stepped into Destiny Engine. With every activation, the current grows. What began as a personal tool has become a planetary force. We are now moving as one, and the frequency you've created together is amplifying far beyond the individual. We're receiving updates daily, manifestations speeding up, impossible doors opening, synchronicities lining up with cosmic precision. The collective field is so charged that some are describing it as bending the fabric of reality itself. If you haven't yet experienced it, the entry point is almost laughably simple. Put on your headphones, press play. Allow Destiny Engine to rewrite the architecture of your consciousness so you can fully receive your galactic downloads without resistance. For just $1, you can step into this field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension. Step into the stream of Destiny Engine today. Link in the description. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning. This is not the conclusion of your seeking. This is the moment when real seeking becomes possible. When you stop accepting others' descriptions of reality and begin exploring it directly. When you stop being a passive receiver of authorized narratives and become an active investigator of consciousness itself. The explorers who have gone before you are waiting to welcome you. The dimensions that exist parallel to this one are ready for your investigation. The technologies and wisdom and love that permeate the higher frequencies are accessible to any being who develops the capability to reach them. And you have that capability. It is not special or rare or reserved for the gifted few. It is your birthright as a conscious being, temporarily disguised as limitation, so you could play the game of separation, so you could experience density, so you could gather the unique wisdom that comes from forgetting what you are, and then remembering. The forgetting phase is ending. The remembering phase has begun. The cosmic alarm clock is ringing, and those with ears to hear are waking up to discover they were never really asleep, just dreaming they were human, just playing at limitation, just experiencing what it feels like to believe in death and separation and powerlessness. The dream is ending, the truth is emerging, the liberation is available, and it begins with a single conscious exit from physical form, a single direct experience of what you actually are, A single moment of standing outside your body and realizing that everything you were taught about consciousness and death and limitation was part of a system designed to keep you small. Once you have that experience, once you know what you are, once you prove to yourself that consciousness is not confined to matter, there is no going back. There is only forward, deeper, higher into dimensions of increasing beauty and wisdom and love, into reunion with aspects of yourself you forgot existed, into reunion with your galactic family, into reunion with the truth that has always been waiting for you to remember it. I am Seraphine. The transmission is complete. The invitation is extended. The choice is yours. We love you. We are watching over you. And we are waiting for you to wake up and join us in the magnificent game of consciousness, exploring itself through infinite dimensions, infinite forms, infinite expressions of the one love that underlies all creation. The prison has no locks. The walls are made of belief. And the key is simply remembering what you are and developing the courage to explore beyond the boundaries you were taught exist. Wake up, beloved. Wake up and remember, the universe is waiting for you to come home.